Welcome to the next video of Animation Universal. Today I will tell you about the history of human evolution and what life was like for prehistoric humans during the Stone Age. Make sure to watch until the end of the video to find out why prehistoric humans are considered by scientists to have been healthier and physically stronger than modern humans. And before we dive in, make sure you've subscribed to the channel so you don't miss any interesting and educational videos. Also, don't forget to leave a comment, like, and share to support us. Now, let's begin the story. When talking about ancient dinosaurs and other prehistoric animals, one of the first things that comes to mind is their massive size, far larger than today's animals. Based on the remaining fossils, scientists have discovered that some dinosaurs were as tall as a 6-story building, while others weighed up to 45 tons. In comparison, the largest land mammals in the world today, such as the African forest elephant, weigh up to 6 tons, measure 7.5 meters in length, and stand about 3.3 meters tall. It's clear that prehistoric animals were significantly larger, so what was the reason for this difference? Habitat. In prehistoric times, Earth was a vast, unified landmass with an enormous area and a flourishing plant ecosystem. The expansive living environment, combined with the abundance of oxygen in the atmosphere, is believed to have contributed to the growth in size of various plants and animals. Clearly, an oversized body requires a substantial amount of food and oxygen to sustain itself. Meanwhile, smaller creatures began to adapt better to the Earth's changing conditions millions of years later. This led to the majority of animals evolving into moderate sizes rather than progressively growing larger over time. Gradually, the massive creatures became the dominant rulers of ancient Earth. Meanwhile, smaller organisms had to either live in hiding or face extinction at the hands of these powerful giants. With the land teeming with enormous beings, they continued to interbreed, producing new generations with similarly large sizes. Over millions of years of evolution, these giant animals gradually became more developed, achieving colossal sizes along with muscular and massive physiques. The continuous changes of Earth. Let's reverse the question. Why don't animals today reach the massive sizes of prehistoric creatures? The answer lies in Earth's shifting climate, the separation of continents, and, most importantly, the rise of species better equipped to adapt. In reality, giant creatures have always been the most affected and least adaptable to climate disasters. The sharp decline in oxygen levels and the reduction of food over time were two key factors leading to the extinction of colossal species such as the dinosaurs. Among the animals that emerged in the last few million years, humans have become one of the species most suited to the changing era. The ability to think creatively and, more importantly, to work as a team enabled humans to surpass other species and become the dominant force on the planet. Today, even if giant creatures were to reappear, they would struggle to survive as their habitats have been increasingly manipulated and isolated by humans. Despite their massive size and muscular strength, they would ultimately succumb to the collective power of humanity, either being driven to extinction or domesticated and bred over time. So how did prehistoric humans, our ancestors, differ from us today? Prehistoric humans lived a fulfilling life. We often assume that the lives of prehistoric humans were incredibly difficult, particularly when it came to food. At that time, agriculture didn't exist, and people relied primarily on hunting and gathering for sustenance. Many today imagine prehistoric life as harsh, with humans struggling against nature, having a limited, bland, and nutritionally poor diet. However, archaeological evidence suggests that life during the hunting and gathering era was actually quite good. Their diet included a wide variety of fruits, which were both nutritious and easy to find. During this period, the sunlight was relatively consistent, fostering lush, diverse vegetation with many fruit-bearing trees yielding crops year-round. Hunting wasn't overly challenging either. prehistoric humans were relatively tall and physically strong, and their intelligence had begun to develop. This allowed them to effectively coordinate hunting efforts and use tools with great efficiency. Many of the animals of that era were large but slow-moving, meaning that hunting just one could provide enough food to last an entire community for a month. Prehistoric humans were not inferior to modern humans. It's a misconception to think that prehistoric humans lacked complex thoughts. In fact, a prehistoric child would have had the same potential and cognitive abilities to thrive in today's world if raised in our era. They weren't just well-behaved kids in the modern sense. Anatomical evidence shows that the human brain today is almost identical to that of prehistoric humans from 100,000 years ago. Scientists are astonished at how quickly humans ascended to the top of the evolutionary ladder. It took us roughly 40,000 years to learn labor, hunting, and how to dominate nature. But prehistoric humans were so formidable that they wiped out many large animal species between 40,000 and 50,000 years ago, including giant wombats, colossal kangaroos, and rhinoceroses. This is clear evidence of their intelligence. A recent hypothesis suggests that modern humans are essentially prehistoric humans who have adapted to and become dependent on a high-tech lifestyle, vastly different from their ancestors. In some ways, modern humans are physically inferior to their prehistoric counterparts. Archaeology professor Peter McAllister calculated that an average prehistoric human could run barefoot over rugged terrain at a speed of 37 km/h, while stronger individuals could easily reach 45 km/h, faster than Usain Bolt's world record set in 2009. Additionally, prehistoric women were taller and had more robust physiques compared to most modern men today. The formation and development. The prehistoric era began with some species of Australopithecus. They learned to walk upright, use natural tools, and gradually abandoned living in forests to settle in open areas. However, compared to the fierce animals of their time, Australopithecus were weak in combat and had to be cautious to avoid becoming prey. To survive, they formed groups, marking the earliest instances of collective cooperation among humans. Over millions of years, humanity embarked on a long evolutionary journey. Scientific investigations around the world reveal that during this lengthy process, at least 21 human species existed on Earth, including Homo sapiens, Homo heidelbergensis, Denisovans, and Neanderthals. But why did only Homo sapiens survive in the end? In 2010, after the first 5 human genomes were sequenced, ancient DNA research entered a period of rapid advancement. Just 5 years later, Harvard University's laboratory had published more than half of the known ancient human genomes. For the first time in human history, a surviving human species could analyze the genes of an extinct one. According to a report by Svante Pääbo, aside from Africans, modern humans inherited 1% to 4% of their DNA from Neanderthals. This indicates that the ancestors of modern humans interbred with Neanderthals. If this is true, then Neanderthals were not entirely extinct. This raises the question, since Neanderthals interbred with Homo sapiens, why did they ultimately go extinct? Around 1.8 million years ago, the ancestors of modern humans learned to walk upright and were able to craft relatively complex tools. As a result, their hands became more skilled and their brain capacity increased significantly. The brain volume of Australopithecus grew from about 450 milliliters to 750 milliliters. Their groups also became larger and more organized, eventually evolving into Homo sapiens. Around 100,000 years ago, dramatic climate changes forced Homo sapiens to leave Africa. According to fossil evidence, Africa is considered the earliest origin of humanity and migrate to Asia, Europe, and other regions. At that time, other human species still existed in various parts of the world, such as the Neanderthals mentioned earlier. Eventually, these different human species encountered one another. Seeing beings so similar to themselves must have been a shocking experience. Compared to modern humans, early humans had simpler minds. They didn't consider peaceful coexistence. Instead, they fought and competed for resources. Scientific studies suggest that Neanderthals were physically stronger than Homo sapiens, but Homo sapiens had superior intelligence, which ultimately led to their victory. Through this process, Neanderthals were eliminated, and other human species faced a similar fate. In the end, only Homo sapiens survived and gradually evolved into the humans we are today. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you won't miss any interesting and educational content. Thank you so much, and goodbye for now. See you in the next video.